All right, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Chris. I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, metastasized to my lungs and liver. I used to live the good life. Actually we were living 45 minutes outside Tokyo, Japan,
Wow.
when I was diagnosed with cancer and sent back to the United States. I was sent first to San Diego, California, where they started to do procedures. That's when they found out I was stage 4 cancer. And they said I couldn't do that by myself. Can't go through chemo and all that stuff alone. So then they sent me back to Florida where my family lived. And then from there, I went to a couple of conventional oncologists. And my first question to all of them every time is, what about my immune system? What about my immune system? All they cared about is full dose chemo. One of them told me I had 9 months to live if I did nothing, and they would add an extra 6 months if they did chemo. Another one told me I had 2 years to live with or without chemo. Didn't agree with any of them, so my wife and I went online, found Dr. Mark Rosenberg, and came down here and talked with him. And the moment I came in here and sat down and started talking to other patients before I even met with the doctor, I already felt good about coming here. Met with the doctor, he explained everything to me. I felt great about it. We did tests, did a bunch of blood tests. Oh my God, there's like 20 vials of blood that you got to pour out of you. He called back, found out that we had already stopped circulating tumor cells, even though it was still growing. And we almost didn't do chemo. His first choice was not to do chemo until he found out it had grown in a considerable size. And from there, I went through a 12-week program here where my liver no longer has a tumor in it. My lungs are about half the size of what they used to be. My colon is about half the size it used to be. And I did chemosensitivity testing that Dr. Rosenberg sent the request into Weisenthal, which is the company he uses. They sent a kit. They took 7 grams out of my left lung, which that night I was up running around the hospital where the doctor lost his mind. But I think because my immune system being so high, and that was always my first concern, was my immune system, same as it is here, you figure when I do chemo on a Tuesday, I leave here from doing chemo, I hit the gym, then I go for about a 6-mile hike on a chemo day. That's a normal chemo day for me. I travel down here, it takes me about 5 hours to get here, and I travel home on the weekend to spend time with my kids, which my 5-year-old's happy that I'm done doing this. We found an oncologist finally that would work with Dr. Rosenberg to keep with the same regimen that he has of low-dose chemo. Because everything high-dose chemo, all it does is return cancer angry.
Piss it off.
It comes back with friends. So low-dose chemo seems, everything my wife has researched, she researches everything. Everything that she's researched, people that do low-dose chemo tend to live a lot longer, 15, 20 years. So between good immune system, my personal favorite treatment would have to be the hyperbaric chamber. I love the oxygen chamber. I don't care if you just woke up for a full night's sleep, you will go back to sleep. You're so relaxed in there, you can't help but sleep. I just finished my immune cocktail, which you can taste sometimes. And look forward to getting better and coming back to visit and getting immune cocktails and coming down, at least giving a report on how healthy I am.
So compared when you first came here, like you weren't that active. Like you said your immune system was. I'm assuming your immune system was low.
Oh no! A week before I came here, I climbed Mount Fuji.
Oh Jesus!
He didn't want.
I've never had signs of cancer. We didn't know I had cancer until I actually had a hemorrhoid.
So you caught it
and
early.
My wife made an appointment for me to get a hemorrhoid checked. And they said, well, we're going to go ahead and do this other test because, yes, you have a hemorrhoid. And when they did the other test, they found blood. And then they did a colonoscopy and found cancer.
Oh, wow.
Then they did a CAT scan and said there was something wrong with my lung. That's when they sent me to California. And that's when they did a full PET scan because they didn't have the equipment in Japan to do the PET scan. So they sent me to San Diego, California, did a PET scan. And that's when they found out it was stage 4 cancer. It already spread into my lungs and hit my liver.
And but you're still normal. I mean,
Yeah, I was still going to the park every day, going for walks every night,
wow.
climb Mount Fuji.
Weight.
So you lucked out because of a hemorrhage.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
lost weight, that's all.
I had a hernia operation right before Christmas, before we left for Japan, and I started losing weight right after that. We think that the air, when it hit from the hernia operation, just pissed it off and it spread.
Wow.
And that's when I started losing weight, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm just losing weight. I'm still eating pizza and cheeseburgers and fried chicken
Great.
and drinking soda. I'm living a good life.
Yeah.
I get to eat junk food and lose weight.
Wow.
And no, turned out, no, it was cancer eating the inside of my body. Didn't even know it.
So Chris's main concern was if he did the high dose chemo without the immune supports that we offer, he would not be able to stay active with what he's used to. And
Everything
that's-
you read that people that do high dose,
Yeah.
they get, my wife, what's it called?
Based on ours.
Nepatholity?
Neuropathy.
Neuropathy, that's what it's called.
And
They
there's
get
no quality of
neuropathy
life.
and people, they're drained for days at a time, they're in pain,
You don't want to move. You don't want to do it.
He has not been in pain.
that and the cancer comes back.
No pain,
That's the
no
worst
pain.
one, the cancer comes back. I could deal with pain,
Yeah.
cancer comes back. Matter of fact, when I had this surgery done here, where they took the 7 grams, the day I left the hospital is the day I stopped taking painkillers.
Mm.
And that's because they were shooting them in me. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, yeah.
The day I walked out, they gave me a bottle of pills, and I have yet to open that bottle of pills. I don't take drugs.
Did you? I mean, this is not.
I mean, if it wasn't for like Dr. Rosenberg and his staff, with Shan, Erica Elaine, Connor, Jenny, Lori, Susanna, and Georgette, keep me in line. They made it a lot easier. They made it something you want to do. They made it, you want to be able to be successful here. That's the big thing, and it is important. I mean, they're their own support group here. Really, between that and the other patients, we just sit and we're very personal with each other. Like, there's a couple of us that started at the same time and things like that, and we sit and talk. And there's some that come in there new that come into the program. There's some that have been here for years and just come back for immune cocktails and things like that. We all sit and talk. It's almost like you're a family here. I guess that's the best way to say it.
And then, I mean, by you when you first got here, talking to them, it just gives you more confidence, or
Yes.
you know, you're doing.
Oh yeah, I felt good in the
And that's
lobby
very true,
before I
that's
even
very
talked to the doctor the first time.
Mhm.
I mean, when Shan would call me and stuff like that, okay, here's your appointment. I sat out there for probably about 10 minutes, and I was more worried about my port because it was still new and hadn't been used. And this other, and one lady's out there, she was like, "Oh no, keep it for a couple years. You're going to regret having it taken out, and then if you need it later and things like that." Or she had gone to conventional and thought she was better, and then had to have a new port put back in to come back again. And that's when she came here.
When you were told,
We learn each other's stories.
Yeah. When you were first told, like, you know, the doctors gave you 9 months and another one gave you 2 years. I mean, did you?
Oh, I cried.
Yeah. I mean, well, were you guys like already accepted that, or I mean,
Oh, no.
or you just kept
Oh
researching?
no, I'm a
more?
retired CB. We don't accept that.
So you just keep
we
looking.
live for the impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when we found some places, bigger name cancer institutes, that they start at $250,000 and go up. They want $250,000 up
That's
front,
conventional.
and then they'll go from there. And that's before they'll even take you serious. Here I've actually seen my first time here, I was so good. I felt so good. I just got told that I have 0 circulating tumor cells, and I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling charged, yeah. And we were still debating whether I was going to do chemo or not, and I remember this still to this day. And I'm sitting over there, and I was getting an immune cocktail. I'm sitting in one of the chairs, and I'm watching ESPN. And they brought this kid in, probably about 35 years old. Looked 50, but he was about 35. And he was a wreck, and he abused his body, and he gave up on the program and things like that. And they brought him back in. And I watched Dr. Rosenberg hug him and tell him, you know what? You're sick, and we're going to fix you. Things are going to be okay. And I still remember telling my wife to that day, I was like, you know what? That makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Because even though I want to dance and celebrate, I felt bad for that kid. But I watched the doctor actually hug him and say, you know what? We'll get through this together. And that's when you know you got the right doctor.
So what are your plans now? Are you going back to Japan anytime soon, or are you going back to
Once I'm all better, I want to go to Okinawa, which is a part of Japan, but it's also where they have the longest living population. It's not that uncommon to be 100 years old in Okinawa. And my family likes Japan. They like the whole Japanese lifestyle and things like that.
Nice.
So,
Good.
while we still get to travel, we're going to travel.
Yeah, closer to Asia. Get to travel that area. Cool. Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.